Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Software Engineer K here, and today we are going to be going through a few pretty interesting bits of information. So firstly, we have the upcoming Marvel drop for this weekend. We already kind of know what it's going to be. It should be the variant cover comic books based off the first ever Marvel comic book that was printed. And then we should have one more Marvel related drop for the final week of August. That one is unknown yet, but speculation is it could possibly be another Avenger, specifically most likely could be 4. And that would probably have a similar price point to what we saw with Spider-Man, so expect some interesting things to happen in the market. Again, not confirmed, but that is kind of what the speculation is. So I also just want to touch on a little bit with the upcoming licensing expo as well, and I did also want to touch on the price of Omi for today. So firstly, if we go straight to just something on the Twitter. So people have been kind of sharing the Marvel Mighty drop. It was a full out sellout success. It didn't take very long to sell out. Everything had sold out in about 15 minutes according to VeVe. So that's actually faster than what I anticipated. Now, in terms of the prices, so the prices after the market opened, they actually dropped a bit below what my prediction was. Now, my prediction was factoring in what I'd seen historically with IP that is, quite popular as well. But the only main difference in this scenario was there was a lot less power that went to people who are maybe flippers and bots. A lot of flippers kind of skip this drop out just because of the uncertainty of making profit, and all of these drops were far more evenly distributed amongst just people who are interested in it. And we saw that the floor prices weren't as high as what they usually are. So that goes to show that it's not the collectors driving up prices as you would imagine. It is the people who have no interest in collecting. They're just here to flip, and any chance to price gouge, these guys will take it. Again, there's nothing particularly wrong with people who are in it just for flipping. That's just another technique of getting a return on your investment. But at the same time, we can kind of see that it wasn't necessarily the collectors driving up the price. It was people who were looking to buy to flip to someone else who would probably buy it and then hope that they can flip it. And this kind of speculative flipping is what tends to kind of bump up floor prices, and we've seen that with quite a few collectibles. So just on that point, I want to touch on what the danger of that is. So today, it's posted a few hours ago in the VeVe collectibles group, the Ghost Trap is now back down to below 400 gems. It was trading at 1.2k, 1.3k. People were speculating it would go to 2k, and now it is significantly lower than that. And there were other posts to do with the ultra rare Spider-Man, people saying it will be 1.5k minimum. I gave it a floor price of, a very generous floor price of 700, and it ended up dropping to 600, and now actually slightly below that, 500 and something. Same with the secret rare Spider-Man. I have been giving it a floor price of about 1.2 to 1.3k. I personally am not going to touch it unless it hits those prices, and it has started to come down. I can see them going for about 1.8k now. When the next big drop is announced, it should slowly start to gradually come back down to around that range. And some people are going to say, oh, you're fudding, that's way too low. Well, you have to look at the market cap of it. The market cap of Golden Mooglies has come down. The market cap of Lucky has gone down, which is another secret rare. The market cap of the secret rare Spider-Man will inevitably come down. People are already starting to sell. And the ones that are above, 1.8k, or let's just say above 2k, they have just been sat there in the shop for, since the secret of Spider-Man came out. So what I suspect is going to happen is the same amount of money within the app is just going to get redistributed amongst the newer drops, thus diluting the rest of the market. That's going to continue to happen until we get more new users who are willing to buy into the product. That's just how it is. That's just how it will continue. But that being said, if your main aim is profit, VeVe is still very profitable app, very profitable product. At the same time, if you're into collecting, then like myself, then these floor prices won't really make a difference because I only really buy one of each type just for my collection, and that's just kind of what I prefer. Now, in terms of the upcoming drop, so we also found out from the licensing global page. So David Yu will be exhibiting at the Global Licensing Expo. That will be next week, I believe, when he's exhibiting. Let me just double check the date. Yep, that is next week. So it's going to be different to Comic-Con. They haven't really advertised it, but I know that David Yu is on the attendee list, so I'll be kind of keen to see which talks he attends, and just hear a bit more about the licensing side myself. But specifically, Licensing Global have released this article, and within the article, they talk a little bit about the next drop. So they say that digital collectibles, VeVe app are coming later in August. Fans will have the opportunity to collect 5 variant versions of the issue. So it is going to be the first Marvel comic book released in 1939. So if you go to the Marvel page, it is this one here. So Marvel Comics number 1, 1939, by Ben Thompson, Carl Burgos, Al Anders, and Bill Everett. So you can actually buy this to read online for $2. But if we have a look at what the physical mint condition sold for, the mint condition value of Marvel Comics number 1 is $1.26 million. This value is based on the highest rated copy to sell at auction. So the highest rated copy sold in auction for 1.926 million. And then they kind of give you the rough range that these normally sell for. But there should be about 5 different variant covers. So this is just one of the covers that we could see. So I think that's pretty interesting. I am thinking of reevaluating my strategy. I'm not sure if I will buy a lot of the blind boxes. I might just buy a few this time and then wait for the rest to go on the market and then pick up off the market. You know, if I get an ultra rare, then that's great. If not, then I'll just buy it off the market, because most likely people will just dump it, because that seems to be what happened with the Red Skull. Whether these perform similar to posters, so my suspicion was with the figures tend to perform the best just because there's more you can do with them. The posters are 2D flat, they tend to sell for less than the actual 3D models. So I don't know if the comics are going to perform similar to that. I don't even know if you can put comics in your showroom. I think you should be able to, but you will be able to read these as well. These are actually real comics, so that's pretty cool as well. Now lastly, what I want to just touch on is the price of Omi for today. So we had the kind of entire trail of FUD the last few days, the founder tokens unlocking, people saying that VeVe's MTL is going to be delayed, all these new competitors coming into the space, it's going to take VeVe's market share. And, the price had come down to about 0.25 cents. And as you'd expect, we had a sharp buy back in. And I believe, let's just look at the volume, right? The volume had gradually come down. This is more natural to me. This is like, a lot of individual people selling. Price to shoot back up this fast, that just tells me some big bag holders bought it at the bottom. And that's just what happens. You're going to see this string of FUD in the market. People who haven't done their research, they're going to sell. And then the whales just buy back in at an even lower price, and then the price just shoots back up, and they've basically increased their position and hasn't really costed them anything. And you will see the same thing continue again and again and again. And that's just what happens. That's just how it is. People eventually might learn, but most likely not. So I suspect that with the upcoming drop, we will actually have a dip in the price again, because that's what happens after drops. But this end of this month is when we're targeting Immutable X, is when we're targeting the MTL. Whether that happens, I suspect, I expect a delay, just given how complex this is. But if VeVe can deliver that on time, then that is going to be a huge catalyst for Omi growth. So I haven't sold any Obi tokens. I don't plan to sell any Obi tokens, just because of how much stuff is coming end of this month. We should have a better idea of where we are in terms of Immutable X and also the MTL, so that people could start, cashing out and buying NFTs with Omi, etc. So pretty exciting times ahead. Now that's pretty much everything I want to go through with you guys today. Thanks so much for watching. Please do like and subscribe to support the content, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See ya.